everyone. I'm Melanie with Paint and Crafty, and tonight we are double streaming. We're going Facebook Live on my Facebook page, and then we're also streaming into YouTube. So hello to each group. So I'm glad you're here. And tonight I'm going to show you how to draw step by step this little whimsical fall owl, and then I'm going to show you an easy watercolor at the end to add the little bit of whimsy in there. So as you come on, say hello. I'd love to know where you're watching from, which stream you're watching from. If you're watching from Facebook, if you're watching from YouTube, let me know. So tonight is a double stream in, and I believe I got the cameras figured out. Yay, yay, yay. It was my first time last time, so we're gonna just keep right on going. So we're gonna pop right in. Hi, Carrie, thanks for coming in. I think I got the camera figured out. Hello, Miss Mary, and you're watching on YouTube. Hello, thanks for popping on. And let's go ahead and start out. So we're gonna just go ahead and the watercolor paper, some of these things I keep on reviewing just because I never know where people are gonna be watching in the series of where they're going to be watching. So I just want to explain a few things to everyone. The Canson watercolor paper, it's a 140-pound watercolor paper. This is a great watercolor paper to start with. I always say spend a little tish bit more on your watercolor. When you're first starting out, you're going to get a better idea of how watercolor works. Loved hearing Milo and seeing your snow. Oh yeah, we did get snow. Yes, we did get snow. So this is the watercolor paper I'm going to be using tonight. I'm just going to be using just a regular old mechanical pencil, nothing fancy. And we're going to start with there. So when I teach, I normally teach with a grid off paper. I'm going to pull you in a little bit closer here so we can see what's going on. I'm getting all fancy. Look at there. Can I hear some cheers? Getting all fancy with that camera work right there. So what I do is I draw a line down the middles and down the middle this way and in the middle this way, just to create a T. And that will help you get an idea of how big and large and where I'm kind of putting my things. So in our little guide tonight, yay, right, Dada? What size of paper? 5.5 on 5.5. That's what I usually like to use when I draw these small little drawings, because I draw so much and I do a lot of watercolor. I like to do a little bit smaller version, but it doesn't really matter. You can draw whatever size you would like, whatever works for you. And so tonight when we're drawing our little gal, we're going to want to make sure, if you want to write some words, if you're going to be drawing on Happy Halloween to you too. If you're going to be drawing this little gal, you want to have a small size, just leave a little room for your words there to be able to put those in there. Oh, before I forget to, I do have a Ko-fi subscription. This is where you're going to be able to find all my tracers for the drawings that I do on my Facebook Lives and on my YouTube Lives. You're going to find them at here. It's a membership I have over there. It's great for when you're beginning to learn how to draw, that you all have a reference to look at, or you can go ahead and trace this, because basically once you have it drawn, you can use whatever art medium you like, colored pencils, acrylic paint, regular pencil, whatever you would want to. Markers, of course, markers, you can always use those. So pop on over there if you're interested in taking a look at joining the membership. So let's go ahead and hop right in. We're going to be starting with our little gal here. Here's our center line. I'm just going to start with a little U shape right like that first. And then I'm going to be putting an upside down U shape here to be able to build her head. So let's go ahead and start with her belly. And I think I can get both of them in here because this picture is extra wide. Hello, Rhonda. Thanks for coming on. So I'm just going to come right down here. Here's the center. And then here's another center right like that. So let's go ahead and start with that first little U. So I'm going to be going about right here, not into the half because I need to leave some room for my words up there. But I'm going to come down here and just do a U. I love drawing little owls, and I've drawn quite a few of owls over the years, and lots of people like owls. Who's an owl lover? Who's drawing tonight? Put in a heart if you're drawing tonight. I'd love to know. So here's her little belly. Now let's go ahead and put her little wing in. So let's start with this. If we kind of look at it, it's a U shape still, but it's got a little bit of a curve and just off to the side. So we're going to go up a little higher. So let's start with a U shape. We're going to come up. Here would be her shoulder of her wing. Now it's going to round around just a little bit into this area. We're going to curve it around. Now to make her little wing look like it's got a little bit of a dip of a wing. Oh, we got a heart. Yep, Carrie's drawing. Thanks a lot for sprinkling me out, Cynthia. We're going to come up with a little bit of a hook like this, and then we're going to come down. That's going to create her little wing. Now let's go ahead and put her head on. So we're just going to do that little bit of a U shape. So we're kind of creating an egg if we think of it that way, but we're going to add a little bit more dimension to our egg so she doesn't look exactly like an egg. So we're going to come around this direction right here. Okay, so we have it all the way around. Now let's go ahead and add a little bit more definition into this. Now if we can see that I'm a little bit over on this side, here's the center. So let's find the center of her nose or her face. Take a look at your U, find the center point. Well, however you drew it, drop it down. I'm going to just do a light line. That always helps me figure out where my center is. And then I'm going to, a jelly bean shape, that's a good way to say it. Cynthia says she loves to draw owls. Let's do an upside down little triangle shape for the beak. There we go. Now she's got some big old eyes, and these are going to go out farther than the side of her head, and that's going to add a little bit more character to your owl. So I'm going to look here. I'm going to start up, out a little bit farther, do big old round circles, coming towards my nose. I actually touched my nose when I drew it, just to give her a little bit more like big old eyes. You can erase this here. Take a look, see, does it make sense? I think I need to drop her shoulder down. See how high my shoulder is on this one and how much lower my shoulder is on here? So I believe I need to drop that shoulder down ever so slightly so it's not so much into her eye. So let's come down this way. Let's go ahead and drop that shoulder down. That's probably going to be a better view. It doesn't necessarily work the very first time. Oh, I like that a little bit better. That's a better little one. And I think I'm gonna maybe make my wing a little shorter. You see how much space I had here on my side over on this side? I didn't leave enough room here. So let's make this wing a little shorter. Shorten it on up. Okay, so that looks a better size. All right, now I can take a look and see if I like it, if my circles are drawn kind of right. Now let's come here in the middle and let's do her other eye. So now it's going to come this direction. I'm going to bring it out past my head a little bit, and this might tell me maybe I got my body a little too big and I need to make my owl's body a little bit smaller. Circles are a little tough to draw a circle all the way around exact. So I do it multiple times, sketching lightly to create my circle is what I end up doing. So there, I have it on there. Oh, we see another heart. Looks like Donna's drawing. Thanks. I'm glad you're drawing. Okay, so let's come here. We're going to come right around. Here's my head. Here's my part here. Now I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and add those additional circles in the inside of her eyes. So she's got another circle here, which is going to be the colorful part of her eye. And then we have a big circle here. These are still pretty good sized circles, and that's going to be the dark. So let's put the colorful part in. So we're going to do another circle. This one's tricky. If you want to erase your center line, that one that we did for a guide, you can go ahead and erase that. Get that, move that out of there so you can see what you're doing. Okay, so we can come all the way around, make this nice and big. Okay, let's come here, do this one here. And when you get them done, if you look at your eyes and you're like, well, one looks a little bit odd and I need to re-round my circles because my face looks odd and uncentered, you'll be able to straighten it up after we do this part. Now she looks like she's wearing glasses right now. Let's go ahead and put another circle in, and this is going to be the dark one. Okay, so here we go. That's going to be the dark. Let's put this one in. That'll be the next part. Now, if you want to go ahead and add a tiniest bit of circle, you can see I added a tiny bit of a circle. That's the catch light. So if you put your catch light here on this side of your eye, then you want to pop over and put it over here on this side of your eye. Every living thing has a catch light. So when you add that little bit of white, that's just going to bring your little bird to life after you add the color. Let's go ahead and add her scarf. So her scarf, this is a smile face shape that comes around. It's also got a slight little curve here. That's going to add a little bit of dimension to help it so that it looks like it's going around your bird. So let's come here. We're going to come around at an angle, smile face over, like so. Drop down a little ways, do another smile face. Now I'm going to come out a little ways past my body, make sure this is nice and rounded. Kind of a parenthesis shape right there that's going to be off to the side. Now to do those lines that are coming down, I also gave them a curve. So I went to the left for a while, And then I switched and I went to the right. And that'll just give it a look of that it's going around. So this one, I'm going to go to the left, to the left. Now I'm going to switch. I'm going to go to the, yeah, left side, right side, right side. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. That's like screwing up screwing a screw, right? I'm going to make her belly just a little bit rounder. She was looking a little bit too much like a cupcake. So I'm going to give her a little bit more rounded belly there. Here we go, like so. Oh, perfect. That looks much better. Now let's give her a wing that's going to be behind. So I'm going to come right here before I put my tails on. I'm going to start here. I'm only going to just see just the tiniest bit of wing. So this one's going behind her. So it's off to the side. So I'm going to look here, invisible line over, kind of where did I stop and start that one. So I'm going to come up. I'm going to go over. And then I'm just going to wrap it right next to her body. And there it will be her little wing that's tucked right behind her. Now let's go ahead and put the one of the tail of her scarf. It looks good to put some sort of little curve that you're doing on your scarf. That just adds a little bit of motion and it looks like it's not just laying flat. So I'm going to do an S curve kind of. So I'm going to come down, give it a little bit of an S. Come here, do it a little bit of an S. I'm also going to curve this end and I'm going to do it a smile face. Now, whatever is in the middle, I'm going to erase because that will be behind my scarf. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and curve my scarf lines. These would be the stripes that match up here. I'm going to do a sideways smile, just like that. And then I will be adding some few little streamers, I guess. I don't know. That's not the right word. Yarn balls or something at the end is what we'd call them. Hello, Lena. Thanks for coming on. Hello, Helen. Thanks for joining in tonight. All the way from are you from the UK, Helen? I forget now. It's been a while since I've seen your name pop up. Glad you popped on tonight. And we have our little ones like that. So let's stick some little feet on this guy. So he's going to have a little foot that's going to be coming down. So like a W shape is going to be here. And then we're going to put another little W shape here. And there's the little feet. Now take a look at your guy. Does the wings look like they're too far out? Do they look like they need to come a little closer? You might need to change it up a little bit. I'm thinking I need to even change my wing just even a little bit more. I need to kind of shorten this area. I'm a little too far out here. So let's shorten this one more time. Like I said, we don't necessarily get it right every single time. Let's go ahead and drop this shoulder. So let's come down with this shoulder a little bit more. So let's drop it, come up with the wing, come back down, and then over. Okay, so that helped make it look like it was a little closer to her body. And then you can take a look and see if you like it. I think I like that a lot better. I like that look, dropping it from there. Hello, Judy. Thanks for coming on. Hello from Alabama. You're not having snow. Did you see my snow today? In my story, I posted that we were having snow today. Yes, we did. It was a little, it's too early for me to even like it. It's only October 31st, Halloween, and we got snow and freezing rain last night. So I said it's too early for me to even say it's pretty. Let's go ahead and draw our little branch right off to the side. I thought it looked cute to come back and do a little fork in my tree. So I'm just going to come here. I'm going to come across. And this little part of my branch should be sitting where my feet are at. So wherever it might end. And then I'm just going to come to a small little point. And then as I come back, I'm going to get it slightly wider as I'm coming back. And I let it touch all there. And then when I got to about that far, I ended up doing a fork, kind of a fork, doubled back, and then just buried off here and got a little bit smaller. And then come back and get a little bit wider and come down. There she be. She's got all of her little feet and her branches on. She looks so kind of cute. Now, if you want to do this, gal, in a stocking hat, because I said I got snow. If you wanted to do snow, you could easily, winter gal, you could easily put a little stocking cap on her. I did one earlier of the hedgehog where I switched it and I didn't no longer have a flower crown. I put a stocking hat on him and made him a winter little one. So you could easily put a little stocking hat on here. You could even do a little Santa Claus hat if you wanted to, and change her up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the flower crown. So wherever you might be, not the flower crown, but the leaf crown, I guess, is what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so to do a leaf crown, I am going to do this little leaf right here at the beginning. I'll hold it up a little bit closer so you can kind of see. It's got this where it's a sideways smile face. We've got a little edge here and a little edge here, and then it comes to a point. So that's more like an oak leaf, or I don't know, what would you call it? Maple leaf? Maybe it's more like a maple leaf. It's gonna come that way. And then I'm just gonna do our regular little football leaves that are coming out and around. When you're doing these little crowns, the key is to kind of have things facing different directions. So if you're going to be doing some of your greens, when they pop up, they're going to be going this way. Make sure you have some that are facing the other way. So as long as they're not all going the same direction, that'll give your crown a lot more dimension. Yesterday you had in the 80s and now it's 57. Oh, that is cool. Hello, Deb. Thanks for coming on. Just got internet restored after 4 hours down. No reason. Well, that, you know, it's kind of, I always say when we lose electricity, it's like, oh, I love electricity. I never want to be without electricity. It probably feels that same way with the internet. When our internet goes down too, we're so reliant on it. Let's do that little maple leaf. Now I'm going to go ahead and erase this right here. And I'm just going to do a simple little line down. Now with this little drawing too, if you want to make it a pen and ink drawing, you can go ahead and go over your lines. Once you get this part done, your pencil work done, you can go over your lines with an ink, a permanent ink pencil. I like the micron pens. Let's put some berries in here. So I'm going to bow it this way. I'm going to put a little berry stem. Now to get it to more like berries is I put some sticks that got like angles on them, and then I'll put the little round balls on there. So you can go ahead and go in with a permanent pen like a micron, and that will stay put if you're going to put watercolor over it. Now, if you're going to be using colored pencils, you may just want to go right in and do your colored pencil work and not even bother with doing the outside ink work. I kind of like the ink style, so that is my go-to look. Now I have my little berries on, so now since I have everything kind of facing this way with those ones that are popping up, I'm going to make sure I go the opposite way. Hello, Joni. Thanks for coming on. We're going to pop here. We're going live in 2 different places tonight. We're going live on YouTube, and we're also streaming into Facebook. So we have some people watching from every different areas. So welcome, welcome. Both groups of people. So I got a little leaf there. I'm going to dangle one off here too, just to give her crown a full flavor of her crown. Okay, she looks sweet as can be. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of writing. And you know me, sometimes I get my words spelled correctly, sometimes I don't, but I think I do got them spelled right. All my spell checkers say yes if I got them right. You know me, I can easily spell the simplest word incorrectly. I'm going to write hello, and I do believe I have it right this time. I never guarantee I'm going to have it right. Now, when you do lettering, I just go right on in and do my lettering freehand. I often say this is, yes, it is Carrie, great. It's often just a drawing skill is really what it is. And as you practice your lettering, you're going to get better at it too. And what I think helps is if you change it up. So I'm going to print this one. I have some uppercase and some lowercase. Let's go ahead and add this next one. Autumn. Okay, so we're going to come up. We're going to come down. I'm going to make my line just a little bit longer. I'm going to put a foot on that, and I will double up my line. Now with this U, I'm going to come like a regular U, but then I'm going to drop this tail a little bit lower than what you normally would think. And then I'm going to come up with my T, kind of leave a little space here, like a little teepee. And then I'm going to come up and just do another U, but this time I'm going to leave my tail off and not create it. So the next ones, I'm coming over with my M. I'm going to do a line down, kind of a hump. And then the last one, I'm going to kick that foot down this direction. And I'm going to do my N the same way. So I'm going to start with my back leg. I'm going to pop it up and then bring it back down. And it can be a different height too. It doesn't have to be the same. Now to make this T a little bit fancier, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a swirl on the top to cross my T. So around and up. And look at that, how cute that was and how fancy that looks without a lot of effort and not a lot of work. I'm going to go ahead and grab my, all I have is my number 5. You know, I didn't check for my pens and I didn't check for my erasers before I started drawing live. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't look for my eraser. So let's go ahead and start. I'm just going to use my 5 today. A number 5 is pretty close to being about like a super thin, what is the one called? The Sharpie marker. This one is ultra fine. It's pretty close to that. It's a little bit thinner than that. On the Uniball Micron pens is what I meant to say. I usually don't go any larger than the 05, and I don't usually go any smaller than a number 01. The smaller than that on this particular paper, on watercolor paper, it usually wears out your nibs. So I don't usually go any smaller than that. Okay, so I'm just crossing over that. Hopefully we can see in my hands not too much in your way. I'll try to keep it a little bit out. I'm going to double up on this line. Anything that goes down, add another line to it. And that's going to give it that more of that script writing feeling. It's an easy way to do kind of a faux script writing. Whoops, I got a little too thick there. Okay, let's come down here. Now these are all little practice drawings. The more we practice, the better we're going to get. So I encourage you to follow along. I go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays, always at 6 o'clock. On Thursdays, it's usually Quick Sketch Thursday. So we try to spend about a half an hour there going live and doing a quick drawing on Thursday. But on Tuesday, I usually try to keep it right at an hour. And I always, my favorite way to draw is whimsical style. So that's what I do mostly on my page, is that. Every once in a while, I might throw something else in there. We've got Thanksgiving coming up. So I'm thinking we're going to do some, I'm not for sure what exactly for sure what we're going to do. I'm sure we're going to probably do some houses. I always think about houses and company and family at Thanksgiving time. So I'm thinking I'm going to throw in a few like landscape type of things for that. Well, and since I have you all on, what would you like to draw in the month of November? Throw out some ideas. And I'm always open to your ideas as well of what you want to draw. We're not quite at Christmas. I know people are starting to do some winter things when crafting, but you know, drawing, we can keep on drawing, right? And keep on doing that. And I hate to just bump right on over Thanksgiving and not celebrate it. So I thought about doing something that might be like that, is what I thought we would do. Okay, let's come down here. Now I'm going to do a few little doodles on his tummies. As you can see here, he's got a few little triangle marks, partial triangle marks that are coming down, just to give his little tummy a little texture. And I'm going to put them, stagger them like in between, so kind of like a pattern, but not really. I'm going to come right here, add a little pattern. Because we got that big space, we might as well add a little bit of interest to that little area. I'm also going to add just a few little tick marks in between those, just to give it, like his belly's got some feathers and a little bit of texture right in there. As you start doodling, you're going to find there's marks that you like to do. And so I encourage you to do those. So let's come here. I did do some doodle marks on his forehead as well, or her forehead. So I added those just to give it an idea of that, you know, this was a little bit different texture up here. So I came in and did the same little marks that I did down here. I added those up here, but I didn't add the bigger half arrows because the space was a little smaller, but I still wanted to add a little bit of texture. Oh my gosh, she is looking cute. Now I did add a few little doodle patterns onto her wings just to give it a little bit of a look. Carrie says cornucopia and pies. That's good ideas. You know, I did think about that. Pumpkin pie, that would be good. A pumpkin pie. A cornucopia. I haven't done one of those, a cornucopia one, ever, I don't think. And I've done a lot of drawings, but I've never done a cornucopia one. That will be fun. I will investigate that. We'll put that on the list to do. We usually throw some type of little pilgrim in there. Tomorrow now, for those who follow along on my Facebook page, Kendra and I are going to be going live. It's the first time we've gone live together in ages. And we're going to be doing some crafting tomorrow on my page at 10 o'clock. So if you're around and you want to come on over and see what we're doing, we're going to be creating a banner for her back of her wall where we sit and do crafting and art. I'm a PCA, for those who don't know. I'm a personal care assistant, and Kendra is the gal that I work with on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. And we like to go on live. We just haven't done it in a while. between vacations, sicknesses, and all of those things, we just haven't had time. Hi, Jeannie. And she was just on a marvelous vacation, so I'm sure she'll be anxious to tell you about all of her big adventures that she did with her family that she went on that big trip. She had a great time. And she was just at camp too again. Camp is one of her favorite places to be in the world. And so she was just out at camp too. So not only vacation, but she got to go to camp. Fun, fun, fun. So that's tomorrow at 10 o'clock. If you don't belong to my Telegram channel, you can go up into my Linktree area, and up there should be my Telegram address up there. And that's where I'm going to be sending out all of my live notifications now, is through my my Telegram page, but it's up there in my Linktree if you haven't done it. Those who've already subscribed to my other service, my texting service, I've been sending out notification, and I also have included a link to that page as well. So you want to go ahead and take advantage of it. I know our lives get busy and we just kind of forget that, oh, that's right, I wanted to go draw, and I'd love for you to sign up. That's where I'll keep in touch with you and send you different notifications. Let's do a little bit of doodling on the outside as well. So let's come over here, come down, do a little jiggy jig like so, come across. Well, the one thing, I'm going live through StreamYard tonight. One thing is, I think I got an hour and then it cuts you off. So I better stay right on schedule. No going overtime here. And I will go ahead and post the picture at the end. You know, usually I throw a heart someplace on there. Where could I put a heart? Maybe I'll do a few more dash marks here, and I'll throw a heart somewhere in. I kind of like all those little extra dash marks. Let's put a little heart here. I got some space here. I'll go ahead and put a space there. Now, I did not bring my eraser over, so I'm going to have to just kind of have a dirty paper tonight, it looks like, because I think all of my erasers are over on the far side of the room. I will do my best to erase with what the little eraser I have on here. This is one of the reasons why I like this little pencil, is I love these little erasers on here. They're great for getting in and doing your small amount of erasing. Not so good necessarily for doing the big ones, but I like having those big white erasers to do my erasing. My paper is a little too dirty to even try doing it without doing the ink work. I still would have needed to erase. You know, you always forget something. It seems like, anyway. Okay, how's the picture tonight? Anybody give me an idea of what the quality of the stream is tonight? With having the new studio or the new internet out to the studio, I was kind of curious about it, how it's going, if the picture's good or not. Love to know. And doing the double streaming and having it going double places, I was wondering how that was going to go. Now I can see here, I forgot to draw this line right here to connect that. I forgot to add that in, but I think the rest of them are all connected. All right, let's go ahead and do a little bit of some watercolor look. That's what I like to do on my page, is watercolor. But if you have markers and would like to do markers, looks great in Florida, good. Grab your markers and start along. Now, this is a watercolor set. I'm kind of a firm believer that when you're first starting watercolor, just buy what you can afford and start learning about how watercolor works and how much water, how thick and thin, and then just go ahead and add, include, get a higher grade of watercolor as you go. I'm watching both streaming and the pictures are good. Thank you, Donna. You're doing both. Great. Great. How fun is that? Thank you for watching. I so appreciate it. For those who are watching on YouTube, a special thing is they like to have thumbs up there. So if you click out of the comment area, that will bring up the thumbs up. So if you would give me a thumbs up, I'd so appreciate it. It's a different world than Facebook. So we're learning about both, but I'm willing to learn. I said, this grandma's got to learn some new things. So we're learning some new things. Now, I love the color palette of this little gal, the gray, the turquoise, that orange, and the golds. It's just really pretty to me. I love that look. So I'm going to try to do that again. And it's been a while since I've done this picture. I'm probably going to mix a little bit of my own color. So to do my turquoise, I'm going to start Now with watercolor, if you're new, like everyone's joining in at different stages, there's some people who've been watching for a really long time and you're new to the page. When you do watercolor, you're going to want to do a watercolor card when you get your little set, so you have an idea of how dark your colors are, how light they are, and what they look like on paper. Because as you can tell, there's so much different here in the pan than they are going to be on your paper. And then you're going to want to have a piece of paper towel so that you can have that available to be able to test your colors on, and also to take off some of your colors, so you have a paper towel ready. And we're going to keep that in your hand. Now, if you're right-handed, keep everything off to the right. If you're left-handed, keep it off to the left. That will help with the splashing of water onto your paper, because if you get water splashed on there, you might not see it, and then you can end up with a water drop at the end that you're not too happy about, or it ends up being more water where you didn't want it. So that just kind of helps prevent it a little bit. Now, if you're using these cake watercolors, you're going to want to take a squirt bottle, give your paints a little bit of a squirt to moisten them up, because that will just help get your paint out of there a lot easier. You won't have to work so hard. It's easier on your brush, so you're not going in there and scrubbing. So it's just a great idea to moisten up your colors. Let's go ahead and take a little bit of bright green. We're going to mix a turquoise since I don't have one in here. I'm going to take a little bit of bright green, and then I'm going to take some darker blue, and I'm going to take this, a Payne's Gray over here. Let's see what I get. Payne's Gray is a beautiful color. Okay, so that got a little too dark. Let's add a little bit more blue to this. So what I'm looking to do is create a turquoise. I'm going to brighten it up again with my green. That might be a keeper right there. Now, when you're mixing your colors, you probably want to go to a tea consistency is what you're looking for. So you want to have that's about how thick you want your paint, is a tea consistency. The more water you add to your watercolor, the lighter it's going to be, and the less water, the darker your pigment's going to be. Now with watercolor, you always want to start light and then work your way dark. So we have this one all done. Let's put this off to the side here. Put this there. Get you in frame, and let's go ahead and start. So let's move this up so you can see a little bit. Okay, so let's start. So I'm going to rinse my brush out because I did a lot of rinsing. I'm going to rinse it, or mixing. I'm going to rinse it out, and then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to tap it on my towel just to make sure. And then I'm going to go ahead and start doing this. Now, watercolor will stay put in that area wherever it is wet. So I don't want to get the outside, wherever I don't want that color, I don't want to get that paper wet, because then if that paper is wet, it's going to just flow right into that area. So we want to make sure that we're keeping our color where we want it. So I'm going to come in here and do her little wing too. So both of her wings was this color. I love the turquoise is one of my, I really do love turquoise color. That's one of Kendra's favorite colors too. That's what the first thing she said when she saw this owl was, oh, he's turquoise. Got some turquoise on him. Let's go this way. Put it on there. Halloween night. Trick-or-treaters. Who's had trick-or-treaters at your house already? I live out in the country, so we don't get trick-or-treaters at my house. So we don't have trick-or-treaters. Anybody else? Do you got trick-or-treaters coming to your house? Okay, so I'm going to give that a little chance to dry. Let's pop up and work on the gray, and I'm just going to use my black as my gray color. My black does have a little bit of brown in it, so it does make a nice soft gray. So what I'm going to do is just mix my color lighter. So I have it here, and I'm just going to add a good amount of water because I do want it to be pretty light. I'm going to go ahead and give it a tap, see where I'm at. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to do her belly. I'm going to get a little close to that turquoise. It's probably not so bad if those two colors mix because they're still kind of in the same color family. I'm going to leave a little bit of white spot open on her chest because watercolor is one of those unusual art mediums where it's okay to have some of your white paper showing, and actually it's preferred. That is going to be your brightest white. So go ahead and leave some white spots in, because once you cover it all up, you can't get them back naturally by seeing the paper anymore, because there's no way to lift it all the way out. So you can always fill in and add another color, but we can't take it out so well. So I'm just going to add this area. I'm going to leave some whites showing on her belly. I'm going to do her feet in this gray too, but I'm also going to darken it up as I go with another color over top. That's where I'm going to start. Cute. I'm going to take this light gray. I did do a light gray there too, the same one around here. Right away, I'm going to be adding a little bit more of a cooler gray on this. I'm going to use some of that Payne's gray and water it down and make it a cooler color. So when I go back on top of my gray, I'll have some warm and then I'll have some darker ones. You're going to watch the replay. You're not home yet. Well, thanks for popping on in, Linda. Thanks for popping on and join us. No trick-or-treating at your place. No trick-or-treaters, says Carrie. Suzanne says she's got to watch the replay because it looks the darling. Well, I'm glad you're going to. Yeah, we don't have trick-or-treaters either. I'm going to use a little bit of yellow ochre here and bring that in. So that's kind of that dirty yellow color. It's one of my favorite colors. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of that. I don't need a lot. A little bit of tea can come right here. And that's going to go in the center next to the dark part of my eye. Now these colors all look kind of great together. And even if some of those bleed into each other, they still look pretty good, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay, I'm gonna come in here. Now for the center part of the eye and the beak, I did end up using kind of more of a grayish color, a darker gray. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of my Payne's gray over here. So this has got some darkness. Gee, it's kind of a real dark navy-ish color. It's a beautiful color. Let's see if I can bring it into frame. It's a beautiful color. It's one of my favorites, Payne's gray. And then I'm going to add some of my black to it as well. So I'm going to darken it up. Oh, looks like this time it's getting a little bit of turquoise in there too. So it ends up being a cooler gray. So I'm going to give this a tap. And I'm going to add a little bit of this to my feet, especially underneath because that would be darker. But I'm not trying to cover up everything I just put on. So I want to keep some of it open. Here we go. I'm going to add a little bit on there. I'm going to skip the belly. I'm not going to put any of it there. I'm going to come up here and put it on her nose. Now, if you can leave a catch light on her nose, it's a good idea. So that's that little white area. It's going to be like just a twinkle on her nose. So if you can not fill it all the way in, that would be a good thing. I'm going to come in here and do this on her eyes. I'm going to try to keep that white spot. That's why I put that little little reminder of don't put paint here. And because my center isn't wet, the black isn't wet where I'm putting it, it's not going to flow into that white spot unless I touch it, and then it will. You know, I didn't say anything about my brushes tonight. Usually I do because I never know who's coming on and who's watching. It might be their first time. These are watercolor brushes. This is a Velvet Touch Princeton brush. It's a number 6 and it's a round. So when you're looking for a good watercolor brush, these are reasonably priced to start out with, and it's got a nice point on it. And this will really help you do have a nice point, and that's what you're looking for to be able to do these little drawings. This is a nice little point. They got a nice bounce in it. It's going to come right back. It's going to keep your point. These brushes will last you a really long time. And usually I have a 4, a 6, and a 10 as the sizes that I have. And I believe I got these at Michael's, I believe. Was watching on Facebook, but now you're here. Thanks a lot. None here at the house either. You didn't get any trick-or-treaters either. Jeannie, do you get trick-or-treaters where you are at? Now I'm going to take this darker gray and I'm just going to pop a little bit of that into these little triangle spots here, just to add a little bit of color there. Whoops, that same gray. It's already coming to life. Now let's take a little bit more of that golden color here and let's add a little bit of rust to it. So let's get a sienna going here. Let's darken up that color a little bit. I'm going to tap it. I have less water this time and I'm going to come here and add a little bit of a shadow on the edge. That paper is a little bit wet, so it should kind of just draw into the middle, but you can see how that just popped that color. Canson brand paper doesn't have a ton of cotton in it, so it dries pretty fast. A little different than like if you were using Arches watercolor paper or something like that. That would have a different dry time. Okay, so we have that done. Let's take a little bit of that gold since we have it. Let's go ahead and do some of these leaves up here on her head. So I'm just going to pop some of that gold in, get that leaf kind of nice and wet. And then I'm going to come in and since it's nice and wet, I'm going to pick up a little bit of that rust color that I just mixed. And I'm going to tap a little bit of that in there. And that's going to be a wet on wet blend. So the colors are going to just kind of do their own thing. It's going to sit in there. I'm tapping just with the tip of my brush and letting that watercolor blend together. And it's just a real fun look. Okay, and I'm going to let it do its magic. Let it do its painting. It's a little bit of magic. Let's pick up a little bit more of this turquoise now. I want to dry my brush out completely when I pick it up. So this time I don't have any water in my brush. I'm going to pick this up. Let's do another layer. So I'm going to come right in here where I think there might be a shadow. And I'm going to add that to the edges of my color. I'm going to come right on in. And I'm going to pick up some of that color one more time, the gray, and I will be adding a little bit of that to this color too, the next round around. So this is my second one. Usually there's 3 colors, a light, a medium, and a dark when you're doing watercolor. Let's come over here. Let's add a little bit more shadow and some spots. I'm not looking to cover up everything I have on there because that's my highlights. That's what my light, bright colors are. You're basically painting the shadows in is what you're doing. It's kind of the reverse of what you think when you're doing acrylic painting. Okay, so we'll let that sit for a little bit. Let's pick up a little bit more of that first gray that we put on and let's add a little bit more on there. Hello, Mandy. Thanks for coming on. Happy Halloween to you, my friend. Let's come in here and let's add just a few little dark spots to this area too. Let's darken that up just a tiny bit. Okay, and I'm going to come in here and darken this up. I didn't have a lot of water on my brush this time when I picked it up because I want it to be slightly darker than what I originally put on. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to take a little bit of my dark gray that I mixed and I'm going to add this up here. It's still going to be light because there's more water up here, but I want to change my grays ever so slightly. And I'm going to come in here and add just a little bit of darkness to this outside one as well. So here we come up. We're going to go right on the outside, adding that next layer of depth. Cute. I'm going to take a little bit of this again, add this to here, and now I'm going to add just a tiny bit down here too, where there might be shadow, where her wings are, here on her body, and then a little bit here and there. Not trying to cover up everything. So this is kind of my, well, this would be my second gray, I guess, on this one. Now you can see, I'm going to show you what it looks like if you get too close to your colors and they're wet. So you can see how my turquoise is kind of bleeding right into my gray. That's what will happen because my paper was wet here and it was wet here. So then it wants to just blend right on up in there. There's a way you can solve that. If you do get some of that happening, you can try to take some of it out. You can rinse your brush out with clear water, tap most of your moisture off, then come in here and I call it tickling the surface. You're lifting some of that color. So you can lift some of that color, blend it out, and you can kind of soften that area. So if you do get a little bit of mixture over it, you can come in and do that. Let's add a little bit of brown to my tree. So we're going to come in. I'm going to mix some, I got 2 browns. I don't have a lot of browns in this set of paint, just a few. I'm just going to wash some of this color over quickly because this really isn't a big interest of my tree. I should have added the same color for my leaves down here when I was doing it up there. Okay, a little bit. I'm going to come in with just maybe even a little bit of my gray and add a little bit darker color because this trunk is a little wet, so I can come in and tap some of that other color in there. It's going to do its watercolor magic and create another color. You can pick up some of your gold too, tap that in there, have all that color work together. Let's add a little bit of leaves right on here. So let's go ahead and take that golden color again, and we'll add a little bit of the rest, and we'll do those leaves that are on the tree, which I forgot to do. So let's go ahead and pop in a little bit of that gold. Tap, tap, tap with the wet part of the brush. I could use a little bit more water. That was pretty opaque. If you put that down and you can kind of see it looks like acrylic paint, it's probably a little too thick, and you really want to kind of lift some of that color out and add a little bit more water so it's not so thick and not so opaque. Has anybody used gouache before? That is an opaque watercolor, and I've used it a little bit. I'm still practicing with it and using it, but gouache is a great way to come in and layer some opaque colors if you need to add opaque colors, if you want to add something that's a stronger color. At the end, you can come in and use a little bit of gouache Oh, I was going to tell you how to spell it. Now I don't remember. It's like kind of like squash, but it's gouache. Let's go ahead and put these little berries in too. So I'm just going to tap these with the tip of my brush. There's a cool look, and I'm going to be teaching that more than likely in my VIP group. The Take 5 group girls, we have a VIP group, which is just for, it's a subscription group. And we have, each week we take a turn teaching in there. And my week I've got coming up here soon, and I'm going to come here. And I'm thinking about teaching an ink and gouache look on Temu and different sites. You can get gouache pretty reasonably priced now, so it's not like out of your price range. Of course, it doesn't have to be super expensive. I added a little bit of blue to this too. It doesn't have to be super high quality gouaches anymore. We can get this really cool look. So I'm thinking I'm going to be teaching that inside of our membership group in there. Now, if you're interested in joining the membership, there's 4 of us that teach in there, and we all take turns. It's a great group of creatives. It's Christy and it's Mary from Painted Peach, and then me. Tonight we're actually going live in there. We're doing a little bit of Halloween party tonight. We're going to be crafting and chatting. It's a great way to get to know some other gals, and it's just a wonderful community and a fun place, a safe place that you can come in and share your ideas. It's fun. It's a fun. You've never heard of it, Jeannie? Yeah, it's gouache. I guess it was originally started for like in advertising when they used to do the ads. They wanted a real matte colored paint, and it was gouache is what they developed, and then it carried over into being a real art medium and stayed. Let's go ahead and take a little bit of this brown or this black again with a little bit of brown in it. Let's warm it up a little bit. I'm going to switch to my bigger brush, so I'm not so small because I want to do my background. I'm going to add a little bit of brown in there. I'm liking this wide camera. What does everyone think? What do you think about this new view? It says, do you have 2 different cameras running, or is it one camera with 2 views? I have 2 cameras. I have 2 cameras going. I have my iPad, and then I have my camera that's right above me. I was just going to ask that. What do you think, ladies? What do you think about the new view? So let's come in here and do a little bit of washing. So when I do my backgrounds, I'm not looking to have everything smooth because I do a whimsical style. So I'm going to start on one side, but I'm going to want to change the direction of my brush. Now, watercolor, because it's not permanent at this stage, and it really isn't ever permanent. Usually you have to cover it with glass at the end, but you can wax your things, and you don't have to cover them with a glass. Got a little bit of things on there. You don't want to spend a ton of time right next to there, or you can lift that color or make it, it's going to go into those areas if it's wet. So I just kind of get close, but I scoot, don't spend a lot of time there. I change the different directions of my brush, so I'm not having everything the same. I'm going to leave some open areas so I don't want to cover everything up. And it just gives it a very whimsical look to the drawing. Now I'm going to do a little bit of sprinkle in here too. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of this darker gray. And great view. You love how clear it is. Oh, I'm so glad. Carrie, that makes my heart so happy. You've been watching for a long time. You know how much it has been a struggle different times throughout the whole journey of doing this. So I'm glad to hear it. I'm going to cover her up just a little bit. Now my paper, you know what? Let's give it a dry because I want a little bit firmer sprinkle. If I were to go on here now, my original one, you can kind of see how my sprinkles are there. It's more of a firm dot. If I were to go in now, it would be super, super soft. So when I hit that paper, it would just all kind of flatten out. So my paper is going to curl. You can see how it's curling, but the way to solve that is hit the back with some heat too, and then your paper will flatten out. Okay. Donna, did your package come today? I'm wondering if your picture came today. Contraption to hold your iPad. You know, it does come with a special little contraption to do that with. They do have holders that do that, and it's on the back. You're going to think I've been talking about different groups and all the different things I have, but we do have another group too, the the Take 5 ladies, we also do, we have a coaching program. So we do talk a lot about those different things. It's a monthly program you can go on. So those who are creatives who want to start a business or you want to do further along, I suggest you go on there. No, it didn't come today. Oh, no, it didn't come today. Drep, I thought it would. But you know, you do live farther away from me. Donna was the lucky bidder of my little picture I did the other day for a fundraiser. So I was hoping her package would come today. So there's the little speckles, and that just adds another kind of interesting way to add that little bit of extra little detail on there. Now you can come in with your Uniball pen, and this is a good way to go ahead and add a little bit of white to it. If you are a journaler or a mixed media artist or even a watercolorist, these Uniball, the Signo, the broad tip, that's the one you want, is great for adding white. This ink in this pen is very opaque and it's going to stay opaque. It's really a great pen. And I will include a link in there too. You love the big eyed girl you did? Yes, wasn't she cute? She was darling, and Donna was the winner of that. So I can come back in here and pop a little bit of just like white marks and add a little bit of highlights through my drawing this way. And I can add some down on her belly. I can add a few little doodle marks if I want to, come in and brighten it up just a little bit. I always save the white, for me anyway, I like it to be a kind of like jewelry where it's a little bit of twinkle. So I like some of it, but not everywhere because I want it to be a little bit special. Now her eyes are a little bigger here. You could come in and actually do where you did your lines where they came out. So you could add another dimension to her eyes. I always encourage you all to take advantage, you know, make it yours. It doesn't have to look like mine to be good. I'm just the jumping off point and then walking you through. So that looks kind of cute too, to add the little lines in her eyes. I like that look. Now, if you're watching on Facebook, or if you want to come over to my Facebook page, if you do one, I always encourage people to go ahead and share your picture underneath here. And I love to share your work with everyone because I think you are an encouragement to everyone. It does not have to look like mine to be good. And everybody gets ideas from everyone else. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to try something. Well, look at that, Miss Grandma. You figured out how to change the page. I have to giggle at myself because technology is not necessarily my strong suit. So those who can celebrate with me, celebrate. Let's do some hearts and some thumbs up myself. I got it to work just right. So I was happy with that, with the big screens and stuff. So anyway, I forget where I was going with this. Post yours. I'd love to see it. I'd love to share it and share it with the rest of the people. It's a great group of people who come and draw with us weekly, and lots of beginners. So don't feel like yours, you can't share yours because it's not like you've been drawing for a long time. It's really good to share it, keep it, because you're going to see an improvement really quickly as come with me, draw along with me twice a week, spend the time, carve that time out for yourself, and just practice, because that's really how you're going to get better. And I just do these fun, whimsical drawings. Start a little book for yourself, keep it as a little journal, and you're going to be surprised at how good you get, how quick you get. It's just a fun way to do it. Well, that is it for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow on my Facebook page. You're welcome, Judy. I'm going to be back tomorrow live on my Facebook page with Miss Kendra, and we are going to be doing a craft tomorrow. We're going to be doing a turkey banner to hang on her back wall. She's excited to do it and come along and see everybody on Facebook. So if you have time, we're going to be going 10 Central. We'd love to have you. And then I'm going to be live again on Thursday for a quick sketch Thursday. And then on Friday, I'm going to be going live again with my Take 5 gals on Friends with Friday. So I have a busy week coming up. Busy, busy, busy. And then I got to sneak laundry in there too. Well, have a happy Halloween, everyone. Thanks for joining in, and come back and see me again. Bye now. You watch the replay? Great. You're welcome. Have a good evening. Bye now. End stream. I got to find the end button. That was one of the things. Okay, I can use my